All right, we're back with another video. And in this video, we're gonna talk about some money. We're gonna talk about some paper. We're gonna go over some loads that I ran last week. It was a full week. Not really any days off, and the reason why I'm saying not really is because I didn't run or drive every day, but I didn't spend any days at the house besides over the weekend. So we're gonna go over the loads I ran, the type of freight I ran, whether it was oversized or legal, how much did I get paid, how many miles did it go, and where did it go. And at the end, we're gonna calculate it, and I'm gonna give you a rate per mile and also a total miles, total money for the week, and a rate per mile. So hang tight, make sure you stay to the end, and let's go on ahead, let's get into the video. All right, let's hop straight into it. So was coming up off the weekend, and my last load from the previous week delivered into the port of New Orleans. I am from the New Orleans area. I live on the North Shore. So I delivered right there in New Orleans, a container right there in New Orleans Monday morning. So my very first load was, got off the load board. I do use truck stop, and I do have some clients that, as in brokers, right, that call me direct as well. So very first one was from New Iberia to Houston, Texas, right? So I did have to deadhead to New Iberia, Louisiana. Now, as you will see, as I'm breaking this down, me personally, I calculate all of my miles. I understand some people might only calculate loaded miles and empty miles. I calculate all miles, especially running an RGN. For those that don't know, as of right now, today, and this week that I'm about to break down, it is based off of a tandem axle RGN with 29 in the well, all right, mechanical neck. So I calculate all my miles, not just loaded, and I don't separate. Look, listen, if I'm driving a truck and I'm behind the wheel, I'm driving, so I calculate all of it. So anyway, I did hit it 130 miles from New Orleans, Louisiana up to New Iberia. I loaded up a 12 wide farm tractor and went over to Houston, Texas. That was 240 miles to Houston. It was oversized, of course, because it was 12 wide, right? And that went for $2,800, okay, gross. So after that, I did hit 50 miles. Once I delivered that, that night, right? You'll see, with RGN work, double drop work, especially, you might be delivering to a lot of private people. So a lot of times delivery times and everything doesn't really apply as much as general freight. So that night I delivered it. It went to a agriculture show in Houston. That night I delivered it to the guys, and that night I actually drove to Galveston, Texas. So I did hit it another 50 miles to Galveston, Texas. Woke up that morning, went into the port, took car needed, and I loaded a forklift. Everything was legal but the weight. The weight was right around 57,000, so it was heavy in my opinion. Okay, I picked up that out of Galveston, delivered that in St. Rose, Louisiana. So I'm back up 45, back on 10, back to Louisiana. That load only paid $1,600 on 330 miles. Now, some people might say, oh man, I paid good money. Not to me. The permits was pretty high. I spent almost $500 on permits. I do go through a permanent company. I don't have anybody that does them for me. So per state, just in the fee that they charge me to get the permit, it's like $45. Now some people might say, oh man, you can do it yourself or whatever like that. Look, I don't have time to do all that. I got other things to do. So anyway, so we dropped that in St. Rose, Louisiana. That was 330 miles, $1,600. Then after that, I did head over to Plaquemine, Louisiana, which was 80 miles. and I picked up, it was a load out of Plaquemine, Louisiana, heading over to Temple, Texas. Now this load was actually a step deck load, but I can get it on my trailer, so it paid good money to me, in my opinion. So I pulled the load. It was 9 wide. It was 2 transformers. One of them was wide, one of them wasn't. It went 450 miles for $2,000. Okay. Delivered that very next morning. Then after that, this is a little tricky, this next one. After that, I did hit it to San Antonio, Texas, which was 150 miles. I was supposed to pick up a fire truck going to Laredo, which was only going to be 160 miles for $2,000. But there's a lot of craziness happened with the load. The truck didn't want to start. He made me sit around all day to pick up the load. The load wasn't ready to go, so I waited till the next day. And the next day, I still didn't get the load. He was, I was going back and forth with him for $600 for a tow-new. For those who doesn't know what tow-new is, it's truck ordered, not used. I'm still waiting on it. He said he was gonna send me $400. We agreed on $500. He haven't sent me anything. It's the nature of the business. It is what it is. Oh well. So I didn't make that $2,000, and as of right now, he didn't send me any type of total. So after that, I did hit it all the way back to Houston, and the reason why I did that is because I had a load picking up out of Houston on Friday or Saturday, and I'll tell you about that when I get to it. But I did hit it to Houston, and I was just gonna wait around for my next load. But in that time, I said, well, you know what? Let me look and see if they got like a local load or a short one I can pull, right? And actually they did. So a guy had basically a Houston coming out of Ritchie Brothers, and it was a wheel loader. So went over to Ritchie Brothers. I believe it was like right off of 45 or whatever. Not 45. I forgot where it's at, but it's a little north of Houston. And so I did hit it over to Houston, and that was basically 197 miles. Went to pick up the wheel loader. I spent about 2 hours there. The wheel loader didn't run. Okay. Went back and forth with the guy. They were supposed to load it with a forklift. Come to find out, after I stood in line all day, the wheel loader was too heavy. They couldn't load it. Okay. So now, spent the day over there as well. The guy offered me $100. I almost cursed him out. So, man, there's no way I'm, $100. Haven't received anything from him either. I told him, look, man, just give me $200, $300, $400, whatever. Haven't received anything, right? Should definitely get more, but I don't like arguing. I don't like going back and forth with brokers. I just remember that what broker did that, and I just won't do business with him again, right? You can catch him on the back end. All right, so after that, once again, remember, I said that I had a load to pick up in Houston. What was that? Well, it was the same load I dropped off in Houston on Monday. The agriculture show was going to be over on Friday. So basically, it was the same load from Houston going right back to New Iberia. Picked up that load. Excuse me. Picked up that load that night. They loaded me that night. And it was actually a beautiful thing. It was pretty cool because it was right across the street from the Minute Maid Stadium or whatever, and LSU was playing that night. So that was pretty cool. Took a walk around. Well, so I gotta take a walk. It's way further than what I thought it was gonna be. They got a baseball game in here right now. Some teams playing, but next is gonna be, I think, LSU and another team. I might check that game out. Might see what the ticket's hitting for. I might go sit in on that game, but let's see if we can go look around at this farm show right now. Go from there. Chilled out a little bit, got me some good Mediterranean food, and had a good time chilling in the truck, right? Listened to some music and just chilled out. So, hauled that load back to New Iberia for $2,800 again, only 240 miles, right? And picked up on Monday morning, and on Monday morning I picked up I delivered on Monday morning, New Iberia, and it picked up right in New Iberia and went up to Jonesboro, Arkansas, and delivered that. That was 500 miles. It was a motor grader. Everything was legal for $2,600 on 500 miles. Okay, and that was the end of the week. So that closed out my week. So with that, total miles was 2,368 miles. That's it. It sounded like I did a lot, but I really didn't do a lot of driving. Total miles with deadhead and everything was 2,368 miles. My gross income to the truck was $11,800. Okay, so that came out to be right around $5.20 per mile. Do your own math. I would have to double check it, but I believe it was right around $5.20. Once again, that was 2,368 miles. 2,368 miles, and the gross income to the truck was $11,800. All right, so I know some people would love to hear the breakdown on what was my fuel, what's the truck note, insurance, all these different things. I won't get into that in this video because that won't really help you that much. I will create a separate video on how to calculate your expenses so you can calculate your expenses, because everybody has different expenses. Okay, the market is the market. Make the money that you can make and understand what's your expenses. So for me, that's, that's decent money. You know what I mean? It's not the greatest, it's not the best for sure, especially with RGN, but it's decent. You can make a living, and you can take care of yourself, and I bring home a good bit off of that, right? The reason why I'm not gonna really break down what I brought home, because it just doesn't matter for you. That's the gross. Like I said, I'll create another video on how to calculate your cost per mile and your overhead. And once again, you can expect to make, that was simple running, that wasn't running hard, that wasn't no crazy loads, and you see I didn't really run that many miles. You can make that, guys. Like, do not listen to all of these people that's dishing out and issuing out all of this fear porn and all of this and all that. And the reason why I'm saying that, is the market in a crazy spin right now? Yes, it is. But understand this, there's still money to be made. You still can make money, okay? A lot of people that's really complaining and they're going out of business and just going through a real struggle to keep it together, they bought equipment at the peak of the industry. They're riding around with $100,000, $200,000 trucks, or they're riding around in $30,000 trucks that's people charging them $100,000 for. The truck notes are just too high. The trailer notes are too high. The people are taking too much percentage from them, and they just can't make any money, right? Because I know for sure their gross is decent, okay? Now, once again, I'll create another video on how to do the cost per mile and try to help you guys out with that. But that's about it right now. Those are the numbers. That's what I did. Running only, a little over 2,000 miles. So that's what you can possibly expect if you are a decent driver and you know how to work the load board, and you know how to look at these loads and can tell which loads should pay money and things like that. So until next time, if you like the video, smash the like button for me, help me out, leave some comments if you did like the video or didn't like the video. If you want to see more content like this, I definitely will be getting back on game, getting back, creating some content. It's been a while. So definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button. Until next time, this is Marco with Trucking the Cash Flow. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.